Mr. David here, got the Space Marine, doing the Thunderhammer thing, and perks loadout-wise I got the Rocket Boots and the Impregnable. My thinking here, from this novice perspective, is that if I can get to the opponent as quickly as possible without getting shot too much, I can more successfully deliver the Thunderhammer to many a face. So that's sort of my thinking going into this. Let me see, so I just try to harass B. A little bit of a looking to. So we'll go from there. So I saw something interesting in the news, and it got me thinking, right? So I saw that the headline was Ginger assaulted on Ginger kick a gingerbread. Alright, of course I'm paraphrasing, that wasn't the actual headline. I mean, it was quite a bit more succinct and easy to understand, but that's why I don't do that for a living. So yeah, paraphrasing. So basically what I'm saying is that there is a day at Kick a Gingerbread, and the dude got kicked for having, I guess, red hair and pale skin. So a couple things there. Firstly, shock. Like, really, as a society, as a collective human race, we're doing this. We're splitting hairs, if you'll excuse the pun, and going after people for having different colored hair. I mean, God, it's almost like the last cannibal on an island eating himself. I mean, come on, people. All right, so shock and dismay that we have this kind of fake prejudice, almost like an ironic prejudice, but I mean, which is really like very little consolation for the dude who gets kicked. I mean, you can't just kick a dude and say, "Oh, don't worry, it's ironic prejudice. We're fine." And then, you know, the kicky just kind of smiling, being like, "Ah, you got me." That's gonna swell up pretty bad. Anyway, so dude got beat up. And I was thinking, it reminded me of a cat that I used to know who would go on and on about the Illuminati and secret societies. I'm sure, there's a secret society or two somewhere, but it seemed that if it rained, or his mail was late, or if his food wasn't spiced correctly, then the Illuminati was somehow involved. And yeah, I always thought he was kind of joking. Yeah, it turns out he wasn't. He was actually just a lunatic. So it really just speaks to my unwillingness to accept people for who they are, and also my inability to notice that some people are just completely mad. So really that goes into sort of my shock, my disappointment, really, that we're going after the gingers, and by me saying we, I actually wholeheartedly believe that I'm a member of the race, and humanly speaking, and we all have kind of a responsibility to look out for one another. Right. So I know South Park has a whole episode with an actual story arc delving into jump out of that, the nature of ginger and ginger-esque activity, and it sort of brings up an interesting question. Like, now, when South Park addresses a subject like this, and the same criticism can be leveled at the media, and also for me even talking about the subject. Now, when they address ginger specifically, are they merely commenting? Is it a social commentary, right? And I think we can agree, yeah, it is. But does their coverage of this issue now, does that help people emulate the behavior that they're satirizing? Because it seems to me that after they started incorporating gingers more into their shows, that people started to emulate this behavior. And so that's why I brought up my dummy who is all about the Illuminati, is that once this stuff is out there, then you get delusional people misinterpreting the satire. So instead of accepting it as like, oh, well, this is ridiculous behavior, I don't want to emulate this horrible character, you get, yeah, no escape. Wait, there he is. You get people mimicking this poor behavior. So it's almost having the opposite effect. So instead of raising awareness about something that's ridiculous, it's almost contributing to it. Another great example is, I don't know how many of you are familiar with, I'm going to talk about a musical here, so disclaimer, musical information coming in. There's a great musical called Cabaret. If you ever have a chance, or tell you what, if you ever have to go to a musical, this is the one you should definitely check out. I mean, it takes place in a brothel, there's drugs, there's sex, there's violence, and it takes place in Germany during the rise of the National Socialism, the Nazi movement, right? And so the musical itself is written by two Jewish fellows, and it's to highlight the price paid by just the average person in, you know, kind of a remarkable situation. I mean, there's a lot of really endearing characters, and when they start to be treated poorly by the stormtroopers, for instance, then as an audience you really start to feel for these guys. So it's just great, and really widely regarded as just a fantastic musical. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is that the two guys who wrote it, they wrote a fake German nationalistic song. Fantastic song, using all the same tools and tricks to write a national anthem. And it's like a rousing German romp, right? And since that movie, with all its intent to, again, raise awareness and highlight the insensitivity and the unnecessary price of that kind of discrimination, since that movie, what am I saying? Since that musical, the actual neo-Nazis have picked up this song and have started using it at rallies and to celebrate white supremacist mentality, I guess. So it's, again, these guys kind of missing the plot. There's a poor grenade toss there. That this isn't. It's a song written by Jewish people to do the opposite of what you're using it for. I mean, sure, it kind of sounds a little Germany, but the whole point of the song. Oh, see, don't jump in the middle of tons of people. The whole point of the song is to encapsulate the opposite of what you're using it for. So, yeah, it's kind of a rough analogy, but you kind of see what I'm saying. Where the intent of satire and the intent of raising awareness might have the opposite effect if... Oh, hello. Where's it? Oh. So that's the danger of hanging out at the spawn. Might have the opposite effect of its intended artist, and actually contribute to the thing that they're trying to hopefully combat. Right? So where does that leave us? Well, hopefully it'll leave this guy in the grave. Oh, melt gun, nice. Just caught it by an inch. All right. So where does that leave us, right? What's the alternative? And where do I fit in this whole thing? Most importantly, what do I think? The alternative would be for quality artists like the guys who make South Park, or anybody who has anything to say, to start censoring themselves for fear that some lunatic will misinterpret what they're trying to get across and behave ridiculously. I can't modify my behavior on the off chance that some lunatic will misinterpret what I'm doing or what I'm saying or anything. Lunatics will be doing that anyway. I mean, the misinformed and the ignorant will... That's their thing. That's their bag. Regardless of the purity or the intent of the message or the cause or the action. I mean, it's really left up to the individual to moderate their own behavior, regardless of whatever kind of media they suck in. So, yeah, it's really like the Mona Lisa being used to hammer something to death. Should it never have been painted in the first place? Of course not. I mean, people are just people. So, yeah, I can hear the music coming in. And so I think our time is just about done together. I love that getting away with just a little bit of life. That's great. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about all this nonsense. All spawned from one terribly worded paraphrase news story about a ginger getting kicked on a impromptu day. But I think the subject matter deserves more attention. This is what not to do: is jump into their spawn, hopefully to get some more kills before the end of the game. But I don't know, just doing the opposite of the intended action. Irony, sure. Anyway, yeah, David, Mr. Yeah, thanks for watching, folks. And yeah, any feedback would be great. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this stuff. Anyhow, have a good day. Take care.